Hello everyone, my name is Victor Gabiatti and I'll be at the 90th Brain Congress presenting the abstract Empathy and Affective Modulation of Intentional Binding. Does emotional valence matter for sense of agents? Join me on a brief overview of the most recent findings that are challenging the scientific community's conceptions about the links between time and causality perceptions. In our work at AFFECTIVE, we are trying to clarify if and in what degree our sense of agency is affected by emotional valence in the outcomes of our actions. But let's start from the beginning. What is sense of agency and how does it relate to time perception? Well, sense of agency is the name given to the feeling evoked when one's voluntary actions produce external consequences on the environment. And here we are talking about a sensory-motor process, meaning that sense of agency is almost automatically produced if the right conditions are achieved. And which ones are the right conditions? Well, this is where the scenario gets a little blurry. Some believe that the mere proximity of events in time are capable of instigate sense of agency production. Others believe that social affective traits have an important impact over the magnitude of the feeling evoked or not evoked. So, in order to shed some light over these questions, some experimental paradigms seem to offer more reliable measures of the effects we are trying to understand better when compared to others. And while explicit approaches usually fail to find replicable data, implicit approaches seem to be a better fit for reaching it, with the most prominent among them being the intentional bind paradigm. The so-called intentional binding refers to the subjective contraction of the time interval between an action and its consequence, and by checking the occurrence of this effect, we can suggest the sense of agency is being produced at some degree. This is possible as the literature points out that people seem to perceive the time interval between their actions and respective outcomes as shorter than the interval between two events linked in time when the first one is not a voluntary action. Through this paradigm, our work aims to replicate the experiments of Yosh and Naggard, 2013, where they found evidence of stronger attentional binding effect when participants' actions were followed by positive and neutral consequences, compared to when the same actions were followed by negative outcomes. In our replication of those experiments, we propose some adaptations, such as an alternative design on the judgment task with a forced choice method, and we also intend to refine our data analysis by adding psychological scales for anxiety, depression, and empathy traits to the experimental protocol, looking for better goodness of fit in our model. We expect that people with higher scores of empathy are more prone to valence modulation of sense of agency. We also expect that people with higher scores of anxiety and depression are less prone to the same modulation. But let us continue this talk on April 19 in the Brain Congress. See you all there.